EG chose red side, Team Liquid picked the Jinx for Hansama.
Yeah, you can tell EG knows it's time to kind of abandon ship on their initial game plan. They moved to red side. You know, they had choice the first 2 times, pick blue back to back. Now they're moving to red. TL not willing to give over TF on red side. Will they grab the Aphelios? I just don't want to see the Varus again. We were talking about this during the break, but the Varus has not been working out. You know, this on-hit Varus build, he's not getting access to, you know, these beefy frontliners that you can actually stack up the Rage Blade on and get a lot of auto attacks off on anyway. So that has not been working. Grab the Aphelios, secure yourself some more powerful team fighting. I want to see EG go heavy on hard engage and team fight. Set up for a 5v5 because they have been getting run by TL where that's concerned.
And then for Team Liquid, while there are multiple ways you can run Jinx, you can try and run kill lane Jinx with Leona combo, then you go in E stun into traps.
Fresh.
I really would rather see the Lulu again. Ayla's Lulu, he's been keeping Hans safe. He's been keeping him buffed up, pumped up so much damage. I just feel like their team fight is better. Yes, the lane has possibilities then for EG, but I just think their bottom lane for TL has been stronger.
I agree. I mean, I think they have looked really good. I think it is really scary playing Enchanters in the Thresh, though. The potential to actually get kills there can be very dangerous, but they are going for it. It'll probably be Relic Shield. It'll probably be that more kind of safe approach. But yeah, EG is going for hard engage. They go to the J4. They go to the Thresh. This 2-man squad of Vulcan and Inspired can move around the map, can try to find plays, Lantern into the flag and drag plays, you know, moving to try to pressure Bjergsen around mid lane. And I'm also super interested to see where the final pick will go for EG. Is it going to be a last pick here for JoJo, or is it going to be about trying to get Impact a really winning matchup where he can actually contest Bwipo? Because Bwipo has been kind of derailing their side lane plans.
And would Team Liquid rather focus on mid lane bans for EG now? You know, Victor is still available, stuff like that to scale in and carry team fights later, or also try and answer for top lanes to whittle it down into a more Bwipo friendly area, because I feel like Bwipo can reach more into the unexpected for champion pools, and EG want a bit more of the Impact style, you know, either the Gwen or Renekton or something like that.
So Gwen dropped off the table as we saw the Graves ban, said, you know, if we get rid of the Gwen counters, we'll go for it our third game in a row, but not going to be allowed here. EG, what else are you worried about? Keep in mind, of course, EG get first dibs on a solo lane, TL counter one, blind the other, and then EG answer at the end.
I would expect TL to continue with the top lane, focus on Impact bans then. I mentioned the Gwen and the Renekton. I think that it would be kind of weird if you leave one hanging up there. The Sion is, I feel like that premier tank up on the top side has been so hard to push out of lane. Darshan comes to mind first as what, you know, Cloud9 have been able to do with it in so many matchups. But as far as the Impact champions still being up, you know, Renekton and Gnar and the likes of those.
And Gragas, you know, you can go towards the tank Gragas or AB. Both of those can be pretty powerful. Banning out the LeBlanc, so not wanting to give over the LeBlanc plus J4, a really powerful aggressive combo. Renekton blind, I mean, I think it makes sense. It fits kind of what EG likes to play. I do think it is punishable potentially here by Bwipo, who's willing to go for some of these aggressive matchups.
That's the thing, though. That's why I was thinking TL would ban it. Because they don't ban it, it's conspicuous. You think they're leaving it all up on purpose for a Bwipo answer, and he's purposely trying to get counter matchup here, or at least an answer.
I mean, if you want to play another marksman matchup, Akshan's really good actually into the Renekton. That is a very risky pick, and maybe TL doesn't feel that they have to take risks. Volibear is another Bwipo special. He plays that a ton.
It's really good
in the LEC, and this actually just straight up out brawls Renekton. Like, Renekton is the early game champ, but any fight within the Volibear E, you just lose.
And this is Bwipo legendary Volibear. He's got memes on this champion, and it got buffed. Reduced 2 seconds, I believe, even off of the E. Very, very nice, especially for jungling, but also attack damage growth stat.
Man.
The lore anti-synergy, Volibear and Zilean hate each other. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough
Please elaborate. Actually, this is one of the few times where I do want you to elaborate.
So the original reason is actually internal to Riot. Travis George and Tom Cadwell. So Zilean, Tom Cadwell, and Volibear, Travis George. The fight was, can we have an Armor Bear in League of Legends? Tom's like, no, we're not allowed to have an Armor Bear in League of Legends. Eventually gets overruled. They get Volibear in there. Volibear won. Travis George got his Armored Bear, and then it's like, well, now Zilean and Volibear hate each other. It's just required. So, you know, testy relationship on the Rift right now.
I do really like the composition to get back to the lore in the game here. Bjergsen, Zilean. This is, I would say, his most the most well-known champion. You know, he's so good on the Zilean, and I love Zilean as a pairing, not only with hyper carries like Jinx, but Xin Zhao and Folly, speeding them up, sending them in, allows you to play aggressively in the early stages, and then Hans Sama is going to have Lulu speed plus 99% speed up from a Zilean later on. That is going to be really hard to deal with, but JoJo, I think it's a strong answer. There's some great ults to steal. Stealing the Zilean ult is always really, really powerful as that Sylas, and they have a lot of early game proactivity, so I do feel there's more pressure on EG to get things done early compared to TL, who I think is going to be super happy playing a slow, even game.
Yeah, early in his career, Bjergsen's most famous champion, the Syndra, what earned him his spot over here in the first place, coming over to TSM. But since leaving, he's shedding the past behind, definitely in recent memory, and in many, many years, Zilean is the Bjergsen champion, and it is fitting in our possibly final game here of the lock-in tournament between JoJo, the young upstart, trying to take down Mr. Burger King himself, that he will be on his iconic champion.
So a small little adaptation here. You know, Ayla's kind of going the middle road where you go Guardian plus Spell Thief, so he's still actually valuing the mana regen on that, which I think is so nice for enchanters, but he's not going full defensive with the Relic Shield as well. So, you know, it may be one of those games where you just have to accept that you're going to stack it very slowly, but I still think that can be fine. Your support item does come online a little bit later if you're going to play defensive with it, but the mana regen really does pay off.
Yeah. And if you think you're safe in the lane, right, if you can dodge the hooks and whatnot, if you can always play behind minions, this is going to be a very testy game because I think it's going to be close. Who's going to get first pressure? Who's going to do more? Both these champions are really, really strong in the early laning phase. Green-red gun for Aphelios is outstanding. Jinx in general, I think, has a very, very strong laning phase. Like, yes, she can be risky, but she has hard CC follow-up. If she gets a kill, she gets the Get Excited reset, and she explodes from there. She crushes turrets if left alone. If she takes an inch, she takes a mile, and that early game can be outstanding.
And their positioning in lane has been really good. That's why I had confidence, you know, in Champs like kind of pushing for this very strong mid-game spike, because when you bring this TL squad together later for their mid-game fights, there is massive carry potential there and a lot of safety from the support. So let's see how JoJo does with the Sylas side of this, trying to punish Zilean early on.
Yeah, you want to play it aggressive, but Bjergsen is going to be constantly auto-attacking you, and he's going airy, and that damage really does add up, so you have to be a bit careful. You know, generally past level 1, you know, when you start getting the W in there for those trades, it can start getting a bit oppressive. But you do have to be careful about how much damage you're actually taking back. You know, Bjergsen likes taking the attack speed rune, you know, having that additional bit of attack speed to harass, and also last hit under tower. And if you start taking too many bombs, this lane can get really risky really fast for a champion like Sylas.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest debate around the Zilean from Bjergsen is always, who is going to be the one to punish it here in North America? Going to get a wraparound a gank, though, from Inspired with his sweeper on, so he knows he's not been seen. He's waiting on his EQ cooldown now.
Here's the play. Here we go. And now how well can you get away? Flash play on the slow. Hans Sama knows he is gone, takes the hook, and they should give the kill to Aphelios. Good job, Inspired. Red, Raptors, Gromp, bottom lane, first blood.
Exactly. The fastest level 3 you can get, right down to the bottom side. Wants to punish them early. This TL bottom lane has been a problem for them all series long. And Inspired's gonna change that story.
Yep, and Danny getting first blood, so good. Plus, they got the flash off Ayla, and he didn't have to commit his own flash. So you could look for a repeat gank here for a flash EQ, knock up that Lulu, and potentially get another kill.
Yeah, it will have to be the Hex Flash, like out of a brush or something, to get the surprise, but that's why you take Hex Flash.
Is it going to be a kill? Slice and Dice is going to be safety here. Knows Whipple's cooldowns aren't back up just yet. Gets away before the second W is the important part. That's going to be a recall that Impact might not have wanted right now. 15 to 14 in CS, mid lane fight. Centaur not going to land the W.
It's a misclick.
Yeah, he tried to get the slow, clicked on his own character model instead.
Yep, JoJo dashed on top of him, and they were both stacked, and yep, it's that unfortunate situation. I'm not sure that they would have gotten the kill, but I think they maybe could have forced a flash or at least a poor base there. Whippo back to this top side, though. You know, Impact is already TP'd back. He's going double Doran, so indexing pretty heavily toward that laning phase.
Looking for the stun, gonna find it there. Of course, decent damage back there as Jojipun hits him. He's gonna be down for a bit though. Bjergsen still has a slow available, resets in 6 seconds. Centaur now walking through a ward to top side, so Impact gonna maybe go for the maximum. Looks like that ward was known anyway, and can always slice and dice out.
Yeah, he hit the Scryer's Bloom good 10 seconds earlier and walked his way up. It had already dissipated, so can't kill it off, but
oh no.
Whippo in the tower is going to take a lot of damage. He might be baiting, has to flash away. Knock up onto the top side as well. Impact is going to be safe. No flash lost, but Whippo will take a pretty unceremonious recall.
That was some scary scene switching there. I want to see just the very end of it, but the mid lane getting precarious as well, so trying to keep track of the other solo lane. JoJo threatening here, but Bjergsen wisely playing it cautiously. Knows the Jarvan possibility is there.
This is rough, though. He's going to lose a lot. He'll lose those 2 full waves because he doesn't have his TP actually available here. So now we will get a replay of this, and it's going to have to be the flash on the flag and drag, but you're pushed back, very low, and the threat of the dive means he loses a lot.
Looks like the lane's going to freeze towards JoJoPyun here, so he can kind of take this recall. And as you can see, as the wave walks up, yes, Bjergsen's able to play for the lane. He's actually still able to stand here with enough health. But I think JoJo can just walk to lane and get it.
They got to reset it, though, so we'll see if he actually wants to get back out there.
And some choices on mechanics for that last play. Now, you can go for EQ Flash on Jarvan, which is way harder to dodge, but you don't get the damage of your actual EQ, which is very necessary in these early game scenarios. So that's why he goes for the flash first and then tries to EQ, but it is way more telegraphed this way. And that's always the trade-off. Why I kind of like this champion and how it works. You can make the choice between quicker responsiveness or actually damage.
And you can really see the different roles that the junglers are playing, and I think both junglers are really understanding what their roles are in the comps. For the side of EG, Inspired is looking for aggressive plays. He's trying to make things happen, try to find kills. Whereas Santorin, it's about keeping his team stable. And so for him, his job has mostly just been resetting waves, going towards top lane, help Whippo get a recall. Bjergsen's in some trouble, all right, I'm going to show up mid lane, help you get a recall, push that out. And it's been more about defending his laners because they have really strong scaling as long as they don't fall too far behind.
I have to say, also still so confident in the bottom lane as Bjergsen, again with the Zillion, some quick moves, but
Ayla's here, so careful. Now, no ulti for the Zillion just yet, means no revive, but JoJoPyun can't get the damage, so takes a few shots. Santorin's coming by as well. Jungler's also here. So still, with the Zillion revive, you can go really hard and just steal it, self-ult, and the fight might still look okay.
Well, they gotta reset the wave again. His wave just keeps getting in this awkward situation where he knows he loses the all-in, and the wave is getting frozen. They tried to help Bjergsen fix the wave. They actually pushed it towards the tower. There was no EG minions, but JoJo said, I'll just tank the wave. Now you gotta fix it again. So that's why Ayla is stuck drawn here. Santorin's having to sit around, and you're in this bad situation because Bjergsen is on the Zillion, which has a terrible early laning phase.
Flashless level 5. What do you do about this? You can't revive, you can't flash, you can try to run fast, and good luck with that one if JoJo's able to flash stun you. So doesn't want to give the kill, finally gets the wave in, but still isn't yet level 6. And you get kind of one last attempt now. This wave will give level 6 over. Bjergsen has a revive at this point, and should be reasonably safe at that point.
Yeah, because of the reset from Vulcan, though, and not having any sort of extra actual kill pressure, a lot of the advantage is kind of gained off bluffing too. Bluffing is very valuable, even if your teammates are on resets. If they don't know that, if they don't have vision on the actual playmakers, then you can still gain some advantages there. And what I kind of wanted to compliment, though, was still the bottom lane here from Team Liquid, because after these summoner spells were blown on the early engage, and EG were not able to follow up, not able to get, a Hex Flash play or anything going, and still very good CS for the Jinx Lulu, which again scales really nicely to some mid-game, couple item power spike.
Chompers won't quite be there in time. Nice sidestep on the zap. Yeah, Swifty's first item, Vulcan, gets away from the skill shots. Worth noting that despite the first blood going on to Danny, it is still Hansama laning better, up 17 CS despite being, worse than the first recall. Well done.
And Ayla has actually had to spend, more time away. He has been having to go up towards mid lane, try to protect them. Part of that is because they have no vision down towards this bottom side. You take a look at this mini map, and this whole section, there's no wards whatsoever for EG. So they have got to play really, really careful on that bottom side, even with First Blood, because they never have info on where the jungler is, on where they could be having these attacks coming from.
And a lot of the resources being spent around the mid lane. The reason why you're not repeating those ganks, because of the possible jungle support roams up here through the river brush, once again trying to gain that pathway for him to actually roam and make the play. Bjergsen, once again, zoned away a little bit from some of the minions, but doesn't matter. His bomb's going to take them all out.
Yeah, as long as they take one turret shot, Double Bomb will kill whatever it's on, and it'll kill the rest of it afterwards.
He did force him to miss the can, though. You know, that alone, that little bit of pressure, cost him a good 50, 60 gold. So, you know, that is really, really nice, you know, trying to constantly pressure Zilean. And that is one thing that when you talk to, you know, a lot of international analysts, people would criticize, oh, okay, well, some of the mid laners aren't pressuring Bjergsen enough, and that's why he can get away with it here, you know, with this Zilean picking it blind and not being punished. Jojo is showing some of the ways that you can punish it by setting up freezes, by constantly pressuring past the wave, by making him use bombs at weird timings to mess up his last hitting.
And you can see, like, oh, Santorin had to keep hovering mid. Ayla had to keep hovering mid because Bjergsen needs the help, because he's going to fall down 2 levels if they don't reset his lane. Jujutsu has like a 600 gold difference at 14 across the lock-in so far because he's so dominant early game.
Yeah, and it's kind of mirrored by this advantage on the bottom side to keep talking up. Santorin's going to find Inspired with the sweeper.
That is a good sweep. Now, Flash is up for everybody, so even a Flag and Dragon and Dunk won't do much of anything but create a Flash back out, so not conventional play. Still, EG, 600 gold lead and the first Dragon. That's actually a lead that they were holding on to that they really weren't in the earlier games of the series.
I will say, you know, the Zilean is one of these picks where I just think Zilean is one of the most powerful late game champions in the game. You know, it enables people so well. As long as you can get through those early stages. Is he going to flash for it? He has Ignite.
Okay, he burned Summoner Heal just then to stay healthy enough. Now Impact going to try in the top lane against Whippo. Has Executioners against the Bramble Vest. They both put in the Grievous, but Whippo running a bit lower. Of course, still has the ulti if he needs it. Doesn't have the damage, wants to wait out the shield. Stun comes across and forces the ulti away. So Impact manages to force Whippo to flinch first, heals up off the wave, and forces the recall.
Big differences, though. You need to keep your eyes on the positions of the junglers. Because of this trade from Impact, forcing Whippo's ultimate and taking away all pressure, he gets to get rewarded with the Rift Herald, and they've got Jojo.
Our W breaks shield, so that doesn't give him anything, and Impact gets another good trade.
Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Santorin had been pressuring off the turret, so a slight bit of extra CS there, and Jojo's
the
here.
ulti.
Stun's gonna land! That's the kill! Beautifully done! Impact gets a Layton Kingdom, and Jojo Pia knocks it down, plus the Herald.
Exactly, and it's perfect timing here. They can knock this whole sucker down. There's a teleport on Whippo, but he's 18 seconds in. Since the minion wave has already moved up, Inspired, coming over with the rest of the team, it will be an entire turret. The timing here and the focus from EG on top side should be able to even up this gold difference.
I love the dive because even in a situation where somehow you don't get the initial instant kill, you steal the Volibear ultimate, so you can just turn off the tower. There's not really any recourse that the Volibear has in that situation, so it is really well done. I will say, though, you know, they've kind of abandoned ship a little bit on the bottom lane, and Hansam is going to get a ton of gold himself. So he will once again be very, very strong. He will have the Lulu, he'll have the Zilean, he'll have the front line, and they have all these pieces to really set up Hans for success. And he's been incredible in the team fights across these last couple games.
But I think it was a good choice. That's why I'm kind of hyping up, recognizing that you are slowly and continuously losing out on bottom side of the map and swapping your bottom side up to the top side. It was actually well done by them when Impact was losing the matchup in the previous series, and they did this lane swap to try and get him out of it. You know, problem solving. Oh no, he's getting his lane froze against him. He's getting frozen out. It's not as bad this time, but bottom lane was leaking resources, and Santorin was down there. So I think it's an intelligent and proactive call to move away from an area that's still going to be leaking resources and get something for yourselves. And you can see they've got the Dragon for Evil Geniuses. They got the 1.2k gold lead for themselves. So they've been able to manage the situation effectively.
Now, I want to see what team fights look like, because Jinx, she is high damage overall as a champion, but unsafe in team fights. Oftentimes, right, no natural escapes, can be cut out by Jarvan. Also went for the highest DPS build. Kraken Slayer and a Phantom Dancer means she has even fewer tools to get away from a Jarvan or a Renekton.
Says confidence in my teammates. I've got 2 support players, Bjergsen and Ayla, and they're going to keep me alive. I also really love seeing players get to high levels of speed, because then every key click that you make and every decision you make for your positioning is very meaningful. The Jinx can play it so aggressively with a bunch of extra speed from both Lulu and Zilean. I want to see how far he pushes it.
Now, Zilean able to clear the waves. Q 2 different minions, let him walk up, then Q the caster afterwards, and he's always going to knock that one down in perfect CS. So he's just getting his farm going as he pushes towards the crown or
Everfrost, very, very likely.
Yeah, it's more likely, but if you think you're getting one shot, okay, there is a case for Crown. Raw IP, of course, is good, but yeah, more likely the one you're mentioning. And the River is a fight, steals the Sinjao ultimate, so he could frontline pretty safely, finds his stun, forces out the Lulu ulti. Hansama will indeed have to flash. That is a nice cooldown burn.
Flashless Jinx against the team with Jarvan. Oh, you can tell they're just itching already. You're going to keep your eyes on Hans the entire time. EG will take that Summoner spell very gladly, and that means there's no way you're going to fight around this dragon as Team Liquid.
I want to point out, Impact walked down, he crashed into mid lane, said, okay, they're giving it, walks back up, will barely lose a minion, but the fact that TP advantage existed didn't matter. Impact had the shove, came down, came back. Really clean macro there from EG.
Yeah, the single most important Summoner spell in the whole game was just blown. So good kind of management there. And to your point, not overcommitting resources.
Yeah, I think it's just really smart play, you know, on both sides. They force out the flash. There's no reason to try to risk fighting for second dragon there as TL. You know, I think it's very likely to go extremely poorly when you have Cataclysm available, when you have flashes on everyone on EG. The Jinx is going to get piled on, even if you get a revive. If you can't escape Cataclysm, you're just going to die a second time. So EG playing it out very well, but TL still really strong scaling options, and they've gotten Bjergsen through, you know, what is kind of the weakest point of the game. You know, you talked about the ability to now clear out these waves pretty effectively. That means he doesn't need as much help anymore in mid lane. You can start to play more heavily towards sides, try to make sure that Impact is not running away with this.
They trade back and forth. Impact is trying to shove the wave in. Doesn't have a lot of ward coverage, but I believe the rest of the team is mostly marked here. Finds himself a stun. Comes right back out, gets the wave in toward the turret. You can see that turret is down quite low. I believe they got that Rift Herald charge off the first turret play, so it is, you know, 700-800 gold waiting to be claimed a bit later on in the game. That, you know, they'd love to get that on the Danny at some point if they can overload topside, get him farther ahead, keep on going. I'm expecting this to be Collector or a the one Lord Dominic's probably the option here for Danny. Wants to kill frontline.
Yeah, definitely gonna trend, I think, towards that armor penetration. Whippo with the early investment in armor here. Volibear frontline looks to be the main target. Plus steel caps here for Santorin. And if you look at the transition available for Evil Geniuses, they rotate their duo lane to mid lane first, with the Thresh safely trailing Danny, and then try and collapse on the bottom half of the map. But all Team Liquid members sending their resources up to dive Impact.
They're going to turn off that tower, so now the flash stun and Impact. No safety for him. Gets away from Sinjao, finds the stun. Lulu ult comes in, and that turret is not going to do anything. A great dive topside kill. Credit to Hansama.
More EG are coming, though. They actually want to try to get a counter punch here. Their bot lane is moving up, as is Jarvan.
Seems pretty risky for them. There's an Unleashed teleport ready on Bjergsen, so because, like we're saying, they commit everything to bottom half of the map, where the only thing to gain there is the bottom wave push in that you do get JoJo pushing in, but no extra objectives down there. So a very good surgical move here from TL.
And you can see where the two teams are trying to set up. You know, this whole quadrant of the map is all TL vision. You look where the deep wards are here for EG. You know, they're setting up to enable their split push on the bottom side. So both teams playing towards where their vision is prepped. EG now trying to encroach towards that top side, grab a Herald here to be able to maybe crack mid, you know, try to threaten this kind of bastion of safety that Bjergsen has been having, because he has definitely gotten into his comfort zone here, has the Everfrost completed. He's been happily farming away in that mid lane for the last couple of minutes, completely unperturbed.
This is going to be tough for Inspired. Should be holding EQ enough to get out. A flash away for Vulcan, able to grab the Smite and the Herald. Will he live? Dunks in onto 4, wants it in. Yes, locks him down. And is that going to be a kill? Zilean is down. Good the ulti up, but will it matter? Ayla running away, but that's going to be traded back out. It is a 3-for-0 as Inspired sets up the fight.
Oh, that is huge for EG, because they get the kills and they have the Herald here. They could potentially take both mid lane towers if they want to keep pushing for it. Impact is threatening the flank, so they could definitely go for double charge here if they want to get aggressive and really extend the gold lead, but they will just back it out. They're going to take away the jungle camps. I'm surprised they didn't walk it in.
What a finals, baby. EG making the necessary adjustments, and we are keeping this one alive. Huge mid-game advantage for them. Definitely looking so much better here than the previous game. Here's another look at the start. Vulcan is forced to flash, but the engagement
Triple knockup.
Triple knockup into the Cataclysm, and it's AoE doesn't really care about the Zilean ultimate. They're taking them both down at the same time, and with the extra flash there, you know, Hans also just gets killed as soon as he gets right back up. So squishy backline targets together. Inspired sees that, eyes get big, immediate engage, and very well executed from EG. JoJoPyun putting out the DPS here as much as...
Here we go. X-Flash, Lantern. Whip, though, does have ulti, but no flash. When is the immunity CC? Tries to go for the hook, does so, but now is it going to be enough?
Teammate.
Got extra health, and yes, he's got teammates, so that's going to be a retreat. An ulti forced, but nothing else gained.
Nice little bit of pressure. You know, he steals the Volibear also. He'll have that available for them, but Hans now has his flashback, and that's what they were able to punish so heavily in that previous fight. So EG, though, getting aggressive here.
Big damage. Santorin, not a lot of good escape tools.
That's
Force
Dragon.
ult as well.
That's going to be Dragon, though. He's so low right now. That should be Dragon for EG. Just another one of these health plays. Get a big chunk on the enemy jungler. You get to your soul point. And EG, as much as, yeah, you know, Zilean gets super annoying later and starts stacking all of this cooldown reduction, ability haste now.
Yeah.
So does Sylas, okay? And Sylas will just steal the Zilean ultimate. It's one of the best ones to be able to take advantage in some of these team fights. And this champion just excels so well on the other side with ability haste of his own and is stacking a Medjay. So JoJo coming up big in this game as well. Last time around, TF steals away the Baron. Yes, they lose the game, but EG are riding pretty high on this one.
Team Liquid only have the one damage threat, right? Volibear, okay, he's got the Triforce, like he's not going to be too bad. It's going to be some decent damage, but you're really playing all about Hans Sama. This is really the guy in your comp. Sadly, RFC is the worst DPS second item. Obviously, the safe poke is useful. There's a case for it, but in terms of killing a frontline, that is not the item you want for that playstyle. And it's going to be just that little bit tougher to punch through. And with the gold lead, EG, as they move towards the Ocean Soul as well, it's going to be tough to get through the EG frontline.
Yeah, and I think he's just kind of placing the value. You know, one of the things I really like when I am playing with a Zilean or as a Zilean, you can utilize rapid fire very frequently. You speed them up, you walk forward, you get that rocket rapid fire crit, and you try to poke away at people on the setups on fight, utilizing zap, utilizing those rapid fire hits, you know, with your speed that gives you so much safety. And they don't have any pure damage, but I mean, Volibear is building pretty heavily damage. So, you know, if you try to fight past the Volibear in the Xin, I think they can be real threats.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to range versus engage. Evil Geniuses need to close the distance. They have many ways to do that with JoJo, with Inspired. And Hans needs to take advantage of the late game range advantage here. Switch over to the Rockets, make use of the speed, try and get that damage down early before the engage comes.
We are seeing armor stacks, steel caps in the two melees of EG. They're moving both towards the Warden's Mail as well, so Rand with a Frozen Heart would look really nice on top of that one. Santorin checks the brush with W. Doesn't quite hit Inspired, but Zap does, or I guess JoJoPyun, the person. Couldn't quite tell. He was stealth in that brush. Couldn't see which one was which. But Baron setup, always a possibility. The Jinx can certainly burn it down relatively quickly. And as he moves towards either a Storm Razor or Infinity Edge, that's going to be a good 300 spike when he gets to it.
And EG just feels like they just want to play towards Soul. I think they're happy to dissuade TL from getting towards the Baron, look to play towards their Soul condition here, grab that Ocean Soul, which is going to have a lot of value for this team that is already very far ahead. And if you can get that Ocean Soul, that reduces really any risk to starting up the Baron, because you can do that knowing you're just going to regen to full over and over off of it, and it allows you to kind of advance that state of the game pretty easily.
Especially because the way that EG win this game is with the hard engage. You know, them getting a flank or them getting access to the Jinx. So when you get early dragon stacking, that's why we emphasize it so much as critical success there for EG. With the Soul, you can continue to bring Team Liquid out and force them into these areas where your Jarvan and your Sylas can actually get in there.
And it seems like EG have to play it slowly. Like, yes, Zilean gets scary in the late game, but they're happy with their Aphelios, and they're happy with just playing until that next dragon. Hey, if we hold the gold lead at, 2.5 thousand, hey, if we get 3 items first, I'll see what the team fight could look good. Ulti's going to land for a double root, but the Zap's going to get the disengage, and a Lantern to walk him back now as well. Ultimately, midway able to be pushed in. 100 seconds until Dragon Soul is up. EG would love to claim that. Make it even harder for Teal to come back in the game.
And as you can see, they're splitting sides of the map. Sylas, Unleashed Teleport, pushes in top side. Bwipo going on bottom side for Team Liquid, trying to get it pushed. And meanwhile, Hook lands in mid, but it's not going to bring any sort of engagement, just trying to clear out this extra minion wave and buy him the time.
And for TL, it just feels like it's all about this 4-man squad. You want to have the Zilean plus the Lulu, almost always with the Jinx. You need some sort of a front line there to be able to be the one that's checking the brushes, clearing out the vision. And that's kind of Santorin's role here, you know, sticking with that squad. And Bwipo is the one who then has to answer these sides, has to answer whether it's JoJo or Impact or whoever is going to be pushing in. And EG just trying to keep this pressure up around mid lane, gain themselves control of vision in the river, make sure that Teal hasn't had an opportunity to push out and get wards around that dragon.
50 seconds. We count down the timer. EG, the ones with the lead, right? They're the ones pushing in top, making Bjergsen walk back over, catch the wave, then come back to join the squad. He always wants to be grouped, doesn't want to be stuck in sides against the Sylas.
And Hans has sold his longsword, so he's trying to complete IE before they actually go to Dragon. We'll see if he can get the gold.
Oh, I'm so excited for this fight. This is going to make or break the end of the tournament here. Finals point for Team Liquid.
Santorin gets the ulti stolen. JoJo on the front line, pops the first ulti. That's going to be a bit of time bought now. Frontline's ready to go. TP comes in as Bwipo is here. Volibear is angry, finds his first stun. Play backwards. Danny is going to be safe. Hierarchy comes right back in the front line, but JoJo holds the line. Now will he hold the Volibear? Bwipo's forced to run, and he's got nowhere to go. Gets revived, though, and that's going to be a kill in the impact.
Hans!
Jinx is safe in the back line. Zap's not quite going to land. Danny's safe for now. They trade it back 1-for-1. Top winners down on both sides, and Hansama just barely staying healthy.
Oh my god, that was so close. They got the speed up there onto Jinx. It looked like he might have been able to reset, but Danny hit the sniper Q into the backline, chunked him out, and denied the chase.
And Dragon is still to be decided. Very low health members on EG. Teleport comes in, though. It's burning down. It's burning down too fast. He can't get in there.
That's smoke, but is there a team fight? JoJo, does he want a front line? Do they find the play? Jinx forward with the rockets, with the red buff. Nearly finds Vulcan. The zap makes it happen, and the dive is not good enough. Jinx is here to play. Jinx is here for the triple kill, and the map belongs to Team Liquid.
Put your trust in Hansama, and he will deliver. 2 supports, thank you very much. Finds the extra kill, and guess what? The extra kill will give you Baron control. JoJo is still up. He's stolen it before. He doesn't have Summoner's Spellbook this time around. So it would be a miracle.
2v4, but Bwipo is on the way coming out of the base. If they buy time, they'll have the 5th. Is this play even possible? Looks like they are walking away. Nah, the T's are crossed. The I's are dotted. Team Liquid take the gold lead back. Look at the 3-0 sweep over EG.
So fun. EG push them to the precipice here. Soul point. So much pressure on this team fight. And here's the decision. You have to go forward. You don't let yourself get pincered in by the teleport flank. Run forward, play offensively. He hits the zap, gets excited. This is what you talk about when you talk about fully making use of the speed and range advantage in the late game.
And this ward actually meant so much. That ward actually spotted JoJo on the flank there. So as he was coming in, they see him coming around, and they make the immediate call, do not retreat towards the full HP Sylas. Instead, utilize the speed ups, chase down in the 4v3 towards these lower health members, eliminating JoJo's opportunities to even enter the fight and securing themselves what could be that game-winning advantage.
And I think mousing over in Fog of War, the ward that he teleported on was pretty close. So it can also get an earlier alert there, but now you're sitting in a world where it is Baron buffed up Jinx with all this speed and easily crushing through these towers. Yep. That fight meant so much for Team Liquid. Can EG still pull this back though? They're counting down the seconds until the next dragon. 3 minutes left on that one.
It's going to be so hard because the problem is you didn't even get sums off of Hansama in that whole sequence. So yes, they did chunk him low at one point, but you can't just say, all right, kill him off, because look at the flashes. All 5 have been spent on EG. All sums are up here for Hansama, and he has a stopwatch, which will be then, after being used, going to be completed into a GA. So it's just so hard to get to him.
Controller to cover his flank, but there's not really a play to be had, so Bwipo's pushing in the bottom side. More turrets to claim. The gold lead keeps growing. Red Bull Baron buff going to be about, a 3,500 power play. Looks pretty good. And now, looking for the rest of it, onto the bottom inhibitor turret. Nice hook, not going to mean a ton. Santorin knows he can frontline ults if he has to, but they know they're not going to commit for it. So turret goes down. Inhibitor to follow now as well. 4,000, the gold lead for TL over the last 2 minutes.
Fun series here. What a slingshot back into the lead for Team Liquid. Putting off the soul, plus picking up all the extra kills and gold onto Hansama, now sitting at 5-2 with the bounty on his head. Almost full inventory for him. And to boot, take down 5 towers and an inhibitor. Massive, massive map control retaken. That's the importance of these late game team fights. You don't even need objective bounties to be able to slingshot a game like this if you've got this sort of scaling, if you've got this sort of setup.
It's going to be tough. And now he has the GA, so not only can he be brought back once by Zilean, you have to kill him 3 times, very likely, to actually win these fights. You cannot afford to ignore the Jinx, but can you afford to make him your priority target, knowing that he has this much safety with the Lulu behind him? Feels like EG needs some sort of a pick, but TL won't give it to him. They are just staying group 4 this whole damn time.
Okay, Santorin hits the front line, pumps the ulti, forces the disengage, top turret is down, and Jinx is excited, so walks in for a bit more. Impact gets away from the zap, takes a lantern, Hook's gonna miss though. Santorin could have been the target, his ulti was down, but it's not gonna happen. Zilean's still waiting, of course, Bjergsen has the ultimate, Hansama safe on a very large build. The Infinity Edge in inventory, turret falls again, no longer a fight possible. Yojipyeon gonna go back in, has the ulti, dunks, run right back in. Hansama gets to safety though, can't get the damage just yet with the ulti on, but tries to frontline. Impact will likely fall and does. 1 for 0. Second one drops. Yojipyeon is down. A dunk in the back line. A Gordigger for some time, but it's just not gonna matter. The back line will not die. Only a Lulu falls, and Hansama is back in action. A double kill for Bwipo. Trinity Force going strong, and it's time for the turrets to fall. It's time for EG to switch from undefeated to winless in the finals. Team Liquid are back-to-back LCS lock-in champions. Team Liquid are the team to beat in North America.
The only organization to ever win a lock-in tournament, collecting these trophies, and Bjergsen is back, baby.
Oh man, it's like he never even left. The King of NA on the Zilean final game here. So much faith across the series put into Hansama on hyper carries every single game, playing the Lulu all 3 games, bringing in the Zilean in the final game here as well. They know that if you give this guy the resources, if you give this guy the ability to perform, he will do it. Went down once in that final fight, but he still had the GA. He had the Zilean all for the safety. They just couldn't get to him across these 3 games.
All I can say is Jat is the superior analyst here in the LCS.
That's all you can say?
That was his first shot. He called it. TL's gonna win back-to-back. He was right. Credit to him. At least I got the finalists correct, but, you know, he's the most correct analyst.
He was previously on Team Liquid, so then he picks Team Liquid, and it ends up paying off.
Yeah, with only 1 returning player from his roster.
Suspicious.
So, you know, it's interesting. Yeah, he's biased, but even while being biased, he was correct. So, you know, you can't hate on it.
Definitely true. What a fun lock-in tournament we have had. The stories really colliding here in finals for all of the fireworks. You know, all this momentum around EG. Super excited to see where this team goes because they have such young players in Danny and JoJo, and even Inspired. You know, even though he was purchased as an LEC import as LEC MVP, he's also one of the youngest players that we have in the LCS.
He's 19 to go with Danny's 18 and JoJo's 17.
Yeah, and Vulcan's what, 2021, something like that. Like this is a very young team. You know, it's Grandpa Impact up in the top lane with the 4 Zoomers, but I mean, a lot of growth still to be had from this team. And they turned in, I think, an incredible performance across the event. And even in these games, yes, it was a 3-0, but EG had their moments and had some real highlight plays.
Super happy too, though. You know, Team Liquid, they had to work through quite a few things in this tournament, and it was definitely a bumpy road, you know, and even when after they committed to this lineup, still had trouble in some of those games. Bwipo had to do overtime.
Yeah, of course.
This series was full team though.
It was, and it's kind of cool seeing that their scouting was correct initially. This was their original lineup, right? This was the day 1, week 1 lineup. It's like, yeah, Ayla's in, otherwise it's the players we expected. And they tried all the other permutations. They tried no Hansama, they tried no Bwipo, and then we got to see the games. I'm sure they scrimmed it. We obviously saw the stage matches as well, and they were like, yeah, really quickly, we're sure it's this one, right? They gave it a couple of looks and like, it's this one, and it's going to remain this one because this is a good look for the squad.
And I think it's scary for their competition to imagine if CoreJJ gets the green card, potentially the best player in the league wasn't on the team when they 3-0'd the finals.
Also, it really highlights how some of the teams in the LCS, some of the organizations have recognized the power that you can get from having a very strong second set of 5 players to practice against.
Yes.
You can keep things quiet. You can take those to international tournaments. There's big rewards for having multiple teams to be able to do internal scrims with.
Yes, and that's going to be powerful as we watch these teams grow over time. So Team Liquid, make history.